is eRequest 2017. We're going to be looking today at a new user experience that we've built into eRequest. For a start, I just want to say a really big thank you to those of you that joined today and those of you that are using eRequest on a daily basis doing your procurement. It's you as sites that have helped build eRequest to the product it is today, and also for providing us with your feedback over the years, because it's your feedback that's gone to build these features into the product. A number of the things that we're going to be having a look at in the new user experience today have been asked for directly by you as companies using the product. So we're really happy to be making this release something that has been a product combined from our users and from our developers in what it's doing. So just a few things. When I sat down probably about back in March, April with the developers, there were a couple of things that I said we needed to hit in developing a new user experience. The first one was that it needed to be a progressive experience. It needed to work for every user, regardless of their role, their location, or their browser choice. Wherever the user is, whatever they're doing, the product had to work with that set of circumstances. It needed to be responsive, so you'll see that the user interface responds to the device that we're working on, and you get a different experience whether you're working on a mobile phone, on a tablet, or on a laptop, or even a desktop. And as we go through this afternoon's presentation, I'll show you what it looks like on each of those devices. The product needs to feel app-like. It needs to feel like an app with app-style design and navigation. And the premise there is that in today's world, people just download apps onto their mobile devices. There's no user manual. They just look at it and intuitively they know what to do. So the eRequest user experience must feel like an app and its design, its navigation. The website needs to be designed with a modern website approach. So we went out to a design company who looked at the existing product, listened to the feedback that we'd got from you as customers, and built together the elements that bring the website alive. The user experience must be safe. The product must be served by an HTTPS URL to prevent snooping and ensure that the content's not being tampered with. So if you're using your eRequest over a mobile phone, maybe you're on the train, that data must get securely backwards and forwards to your server. It must be linkable, i.e. easy to share via a URL. It doesn't require any complex installation. So from an email, you can click on links. That should open the application and allow you to use it without having to install anything onto any devices. And maybe most importantly for our existing customers, it needed to be upgradable. So where you've put lots of time and investment into configuring your eRequest to work in a particular way, to look at particular suppliers, to work with particular items, your forms, we have to keep all of that set up to work in the way that you configured it and that your users are used to using it. So you'll see it through the upgrade that we changed the user interface, and some elements were kept looking similar to the older version, but certainly all your forms or your groups or your hierarchies or your users or your preferences come through to the new version and are used by that. Okay, so there's a few things which we'll hit as we go through the presentation this afternoon. And these are the things that people specifically came back to us and said, these these need to be in. We need to be able to review all requests on one page. So in the older version we have inbox, outbox, etc. You must be able to view all the requests on one page. So there's a new open request page for that. We need to be able to filter the request forms. We must be able to say we want to see all my request forms in one place, all the transactions, all the requests across all request forms. You must be able to see in one place, or because there's a filter, you can specify which ones you want to see. We must be able to perform actions on requests from the home page. So we know sometimes users don't want to drill into a request to approve it. They know what the request is for, they're accepting it, expecting it, so therefore they should just be allowed to click the box and say, I approve that. On that same line, sometimes there might be multiple requests. So by clicking on the multiple requests and going up to the approve button, will approve all those requests at the same time. No need for separate clicking on those. We've spoken about the mobile responsive design. The design changes depending on your on the tablet or the mobile phone you're using, and also down to the fact whether your mobile phone is being held upright or sideways. One of the things in the existing version is that when you're putting data in, you can look it up from tables that are held inside Dynamics GP. The new version allows you to type in to those fields, and it predicts what you're typing so that to cut down on the number of keystrokes. All of the Management Studio is now available as part of the website. As part of that is also we've provided a new enhanced form designer, which allows you to specify what goes onto a form and where those fields are placed on the form in a much better way. A single login across multiple companies also exists now, so you don't have to log out and log back in to get into another company. You can do that by clicking the Actions button at the top of the window and going into another company. You can attach pictures to requests from mobile devices. We've also provided an Excel copy and paste function. So those of you that get requests coming in by email, they're in a specific format. You can just go to your email or to your Excel file, do a copy, and paste it directly into eRequest. We'll take a look at a little bit at eRequest Analytics, which is powered by Power BI at the end of the presentation. And as I've said already, the Management Studio is now available online. So those are the main key functions that we had to hit. So let's go take a look. So here I am in the new login screen of eRequest. This afternoon, I'm going to log in initially as Leanne. So Nolan Business Solutions will shortly be having its Christmas party, and Angela Barnes has been asked to organize that. Angela is one of our account managers. So Angela has made the arrangements, and she's asked Leanne to log in and create the requests, the request for that. Leanne will then send it to Angela for approval, who will then send it on to her manager, Mark Hennessy, for final approval before it becomes a purchase order. So let's log in and see what Leanne sees in the new user experience. We're logging in. Okay. So this is our new home page. You'll see we've kept the menu bar down the left-hand side. That can now be hidden if you want more real estate. And we have, instead of the inbox, outbox, etc., we've now got this open requests option. I can see my requests to action, so the things that I need to do, the requests that are waiting on others to do. So Leanne has a request here, 2 requests she's waiting for Catherine to approve, and 1 that she's waiting for Angela to approve for the Breakfast Club. We've also on this page put in a list of recently completed requests so that you can see recently what requests put on recently. And if you're duplicating those requests, it's quite easy to go in using the little twisty here. Just click on duplicate and you can duplicate those requests. So all your requests on one page, things that you need to deal with. We provide two views of this data, a quick view, which is similar to the existing system as it's a grid, and a detailed view and a quick view. If we go to the quick view, you'll see that it brings in just a quick summary of what's in the request. So you can see who the current user is, you can see the total, you can see the status, and if you want to go to the date, when you want to go into it, you can view the request or perform actions on those requests. This comes in really handy when we have a look at the mobile devices, because on the mobile device these stack underneath each other and gives you a nice view of the requests that you're waiting for the people and requests that you need to action. The ad is able to put on requests for the office equipment and office supplies and also for staff welfare. So these are specific forms inside the request, and we've got it set to show all. So we can see that actually in the waiting on others, Leanne can see office equipment and also the staff welfare requests. By changing the filter to say just show me the office supplies ones, you can just filter that down. So no longer do you have to log in and out of forms to be able to see your requests. You can set your filters to show you all or specific if you want to. I've already shown you a little bit about the twisty icons here, so you can perform actions on requests without having to actually go into the request by clicking on this twisty option. But you can also perform tasks using an actions button, bulk actions. So I can tick individual requests, go to bulk actions, and perform actions there. So we'll see as we go through the demonstration, if it's a request, something for me to action, I can approve, submit, duplicate, print that request, etc. Okay, so in our scenario, Leanne has to put on a request for the Christmas party and also some taxis that Angela has arranged. So we'll go into new request, and it's going to be a staff welfare type request. So we've kept with the request forms, because inside a request form you can specify individual fields that you want on the request. You can specify who you're buying things from, what you're buying, all categorized nicely into a request form. So on the staff welfare request form, we can see it's request number 24 here. And we'll follow that request number 24 throughout the presentation. So Leanne can press the Add Line button, and we're now on item number. By typing in first three characters, you'll see that the system takes a look at what we can buy under staff welfare, and I can see Christmas decorations, Christmas party, Christmas tree. So we'll select Christmas party. We'll say this is the Nolan 2016 Christmas party. The supplier, we can press the lookup button to have a look at the suppliers, and we have the same search functionality that we've always had here. You can also specify which columns you want to see on the lookups. We've made that wider to provide you with more information. Clicking on the link suppliers only makes the lookup to show just those suppliers that we've previously bought these items from before. So in this case, we normally use Best Parties Ever as our supplier for the Christmas party. If Leanne had known that it was Best suppliers only. She doesn't even have to go into the lookup. She can just type best. It'll come up, best parties, just a tab, simple tab, brings that into the system. The account number is defaulted from the items and the suppliers in the same way it always has. So we're going to post the expense here to staff welfare parties account. We're having one party, and it's going to cost us £3,000. And again, the system works out the VAT element. The party is going to be on the 16th of December. Okay, so that's enough for Leanne on Christmas parties. We've just got to book the taxis as well. So we're going to add line, and here I can type in taxis, tab, from fleet to Farnborough. The supplier is A2B taxis, and it's automatically told me it's going to post the staff taxis account. We booked 12 taxis at a cost of £25 each. Required by date is also the 16th. I'm going to make a comment here that taxi pickup at 11 o'clock, please. I can save that request and submit it for approval to Angela Barnes. Okay. The system tells me that my request has been submitted for approval. At this point, Angela will get an email telling her that there's a request for approval. She can still approve that request directly on the email, or she can log in on her phone or on an iPad to go and have a look at that request and approve it. So I'm going to log in to the system on my iPhone, and then I'll show that to you on the screen. So just connect with my iPhone. Okay. So this is the iPhone view. You'll see that the menu bar moves across from the left. You've got the same options as you have on the main system. So Angela can see her request number 24. If I hold the phone across, you can also see that it's from Leanne Miller, submitted to Angela Barnes. By clicking on the link, Angela can see the details. So she's Nolan Business Solutions. It was originated by Leanne. It's for the Christmas party and the taxis. It must be submitted, and the total is £3,300 plus VAT. Just going to have a look at the taxis one. Just going to have a look. Yeah, it's from Farnborough to Fleet. From Fleet to Farnborough, that's okay. A2B taxis, 12 of them. Happy with that. Or with that taxi pickup, that sounds a little bit early. So what we'll do is Angela will just go and change that to say, actually, can you pick us up at 11:30, please? And you can save that. If Angela's happy at this point, she can go into Actions and submit it to Mark Hennessy. Submit. On the iPhone, it's showing that the request has been submitted for approval. So, from that perspective, Angela's happy that everything's in place now for the Christmas party and the taxis to be booked. So I'm just going to switch screens again. And this time, I'm going to show you the view from an iPad. Belonging to Mark Hennessy. So just log in as Mark. And Mark can see there's request number 24 sitting waiting for him now, originated by Leanne and now with Mark. So if Mark wanted to here, he's got 3 ways of approving this request. He can use the trusty box just to go and approve it. He could tick the request and go to his bulk actions to approve it. Or because Mark actually wants to have a look at the budget that's been spent, he can go into the request and have a look at more details and approve it from this form as well. So you can see the Christmas party and the taxis. Let's go and have a look at the budget on the Christmas party. So we'll just scroll down inside here. And there's the budget commitment. Well, the budget's £12,000 for parties, and Angela's overspent that quite considerably. So at this point, Mark has a number of options, but because it's Christmas, I guess we can just go and approve it. Okay. The system shows us that the request has been approved, and we've got 2 purchase order numbers coming out here, PO2102 and PO2103. So Leanne will get an email telling her that her request has been approved, so we're back to Leanne. So looking at completed requests now, here's our request number 24 that we can see has been approved. Going into the request, we've got our purchase order numbers, and simply by clicking on the purchase order number, it opens up the PDF image. These are to the Best Parties Ever company, the Nolan 2016 Christmas party, as authorized by Mark Hennessy. There's a feature up here which we're calling breadcrumbs. So to enable you to get back to the request, you can just follow the breadcrumbs through the system. So clicking on the request number will take you back to the request number. Let's go to the taxis. And from here you go to the taxis. And by clicking on email supplier, you'll be able to put in the email details and send the email that purchase order is an email. If your supplier's email address is in Dynamics GP, it will pull the email address from Dynamics GP at this point. Right, so the emails have gone out to our suppliers. Looking down the list, we've looked at open requests, completed requests. We still have an area for draft requests with the same filter functionality and feed actions button. And we have an area here for all requests, which allows you to see a lot of detail about each request that you have on the system. A purchase order inquiry shows us by purchase order all the purchase orders that have been raised by Leanne. Okay, so next thing I guess is we can go through to the received PO area of the system. So what Leanne sees in the received PO area is anything that she's ordered that hasn't yet been received or has been partly received. So we can see quite clearly that there's 6 requests here. Leanne has previously ordered 16 packets of tea, 2 packs of coffee, VGA monitor, some 12 iPads. Those yet haven't come in. We can also see our Christmas party and our taxis. So by filling in the quantity that have been received, I'm pressing the receive button. That goes and creates receipts inside Dynamics GP. So let's go and have a look at those, those documents inside Dynamics. Go to the inquiry, and we say we want to look at PO 2102 and PO 2103. It shows me our purchase orders. If I just drill down into the taxis purchase order here, we can see the description that Leanne entered in. I can see that it was requested by Leanne, and I can also see the message here, taxi pickup 11:30. So what we've done is we've brought through all the information to Dynamics that was put through the request. The receipt too, if we look at the receipt, you can see the receipt is matched to this purchase order, and we have 12 at £25 each. Distributions at this point are going to debit the expense account, our taxis account, and credit our accrued purchases account. Right, so the receivings batch must be posted. The receivings batch is called eRequest. So we're just going to post that in the system, which is going to post to our general ledger. For those receipts. Christmas party and taxis. Okay, so we're going to have a very quick look at the invoice approval side and how that works with the new user experience. So, if the invoice comes in from Best Parties Ever, invoice best 001, I can put into a batch, and I can see from the invoice that the supplier is Best Parties Ever. By clicking on the auto invoice button, I'm able to see any purchase orders that have been received, and I can see my Nolan 2016 Christmas party here. So I can go through and just click the invoice button. It comes through. You'll notice that it's matched to the receipt. No one in purchase ledgers had to do any typing at this point really, except for the supplier's invoice number and the supplier himself. If we want to scan that invoice into the system so it's available, we can go to the additional tab and print a barcode at this point. On a label printer, that barcode can be pulled off and stuck to the invoice for later scanning. Once the invoice is scanned through the system, it's then available, and you can go into View Scanned Image, and you can have a look at the invoice scanned through previously. It came to Angela Barnes for the Nolan's Christmas party for £3,000. So, invoice approvals, normally if the invoice actually matches the receipt, there's no need for it to be sent through invoice approvals. But I've set up my demo system today to say that if there's a variance in the value of the invoice, then it should be sent off for further approval. So I'll say that Best Parties Ever has charged us £3,100 for the party. Dynamics comes up and says the unit cost on the invoice is different to the cost on the shipment it's matched to. Is it correct? Yes, it is. It shows me that there's a difference. What's happened now inside invoice approvals, if I go to the additional tab, invoice approvals, you'll see that it requires approval before it's posted from Catherine Walsh. So I need to save this invoice into a batch. Catherine Walsh will get an email, and Catherine can go into the system to go and approve that invoice. So I'll log out and log in as Catherine Walsh. See, Catherine's got a number of requests to action. She's got a number of items going on, but inside invoice approvals, there's our receipt 1216 for purchase order number 2103. Best parties ever, but they've charged us more for the invoice. She can have a look at the original invoice by clicking on the zoom button here. So she's aware of what the invoice looks like, the scanned copy. And we can also get more details about this request. So we're clicking on receipt 1216. She can have a look at the distributions that have come through. She can look at the details of the purchase order. So it was for Christmas party from Best Parties Ever. It was posted to the parties account, and we're trying to post £3,100 here. Clicking on this link will show us the original PO and the request. Catherine can also make notes, so she can say, yes, this is okay. We added an extra person and add a note to the request. Here's the breadcrumbs again. We can now go back to invoice approvals, tick the box, and click the approve button. eRequest tells me that the invoice approval has been completed. So back inside Dynamics, if I redisplay on my inquiry here, I can see here's my invoice. I can drill into the invoice. I can look at the notes, and I can see date and time stamped that what Catherine said, yes, it's okay, and that she went ahead and approved it. And it's also moved that transaction across to an approved batch. So from purchase ledger's point of view, they can now go in and post that approved batch through to the system. So two final things I just want to show you around the new user interface. Quite often we're asked to about what reporting the system does, and because eRequest works so closely with Dynamics, we're able to do a lot of the reporting out using smart lists inside Dynamics GP. But for the users that don't have access to Dynamics, we're providing links to enable you to go and have a look at analytics. So this is driven by Microsoft's Power BI. So if I click on the Analytics tab, it takes me to my Power BI. As an example for this afternoon, I've created a Power BI dashboard and report here that shows me what we bought, who we buy it from, who requested it, and the purchase orders that they requested on. So it's gone through a combination of the eRequest and GP data to bring back this data to be shown in this way. The pages inside Power BI are, as you hover over items, you can see a bit more detail about them, and they're also responsive. So if I look at something like consultants, if I click on the consultants tab here, I bought some time from consultants, and it's highlighted that I get my consultancy from Paul West. It's requested by Andy Seymour, and it was requested over a number of POs over the period November, July of this year. If I think, what have I bought from electronic cash machines, I can click on electronic cash machines, and you'll see here it highlights the fact that I bought some CapEx machinery and a few spare parts at the top there. So nice interactive graphs and ways of analyzing data. And we provide views behind eRequest that enables you to do this easily, and we're also able to show you how to create your own Power BI desktops should you need. I spoke about the Management Studio. That's now under the admin section. Catherine Walsh is an admin person. So we're able to go and have a look at all the eRequest setup from the website. So inside here, I can go in and I can go into my form editor. We're down on the new form editor. I'm able to drag and drop fields, move them around quite easily. And also, I've got the ability to change the labels and change whether they're hidden or not. So no more need for a separate Management Studio application. This is the final thing on the new interface. The new interface is written using HTML5, which gives us the ability to link in with things like your camera on your mobile phone, and also link in with other aspects of your systems. So in my email, I've received an email here with an office order. Leanne, please can you get this ordered? The developers want some stationery, I think it is, so I'll just go to an Excel spreadsheet, and I can see they're looking for coffee, sugar, tea, etc. They've given us the description, who the supplier is, a quantity, and a unit price. So from Leanne's perspective, she can go into a spreadsheet, press Control-C or right-click and copy. So it's now copied to the copy area. Go into, actually can Catherine go and create a new request. She can indeed. Go into Office Supplies, and simply by clicking on the Excel paste button, paste all those details directly into the request. So hopefully for those of you that use eRequest and get requests coming through on a regular basis on Excel or in something that you can copy, that copy and paste function is going to save you a lot of time. So thank you very much for your time this afternoon, for your attendance on this webinar. I hope that it's been useful seeing this new version, new user experience of eRequest. During the coming months after the new year, we'll be in touch with the existing users. We'll be talking to them about the upgrade path to get them onto this new version. So thank you very much for your time this afternoon.